Okay guys, so we got a new season on our hands, and as I wasn't invited to the creator program, I'm actually able to give you guys my true first impressions of the season, my thoughts and such. Obvious disclaimer, this is my opinion. If you disagree, let me know in the comments, we can always hash it out, but I'm just putting my thoughts out here for the world. First of all, I want to talk about the map, because the map is what makes this season different from all the other seasons. I think most of our seasons, with the exception of a few, has just a remake of the map. But season 11 brings us Storm Point, which is a really big map. It's 15% bigger than World's Edge horizontally. I'm not sure on the ground, but when you actually play it, this map feels so big. It's not like in a good way. I would say the map feels almost like a Titanfall map. If you haven't played it, you maneuver these huge robots around. It feels like it's made for these huge robots to move around. When you're a person, you feel small. You feel insignificant. I feel like a speck of dust in the galaxy. Like everything just feels so large, and you're traversing these huge open areas. I haven't played ranked. I haven't played competitive on this map yet. I've only really played pubs, and in these pubs, it's a bit empty. It's either like super duper empty, you don't see or hear anything. You have like people camped up on these very vast high grounds and these huge mountains sniping you and such, because snipers are very common. There's very little cover, so you want to almost run a sniper. I have yet to find myself in a fight where I felt like I needed a shotgun. Instead, I think like a mid-range, short-range gun, and then a sniper seems to be the play. The rotations still... This being said though, the rotations on the new map feel pretty fast. You can kind of just use these cannons to move all over the place. You have tridents, not that I really use them. You have some pretty fast rotation routes you can use. So it's not too bad on that. The map has Prowlers, the map has spiders, so they have PvE elements. I'm not entirely sure what you get from it. I think you get loot and crafting materials. I have yet to see the point of these. If anything, they just attract attention from third parties, and they just get in the way, really. But I think that's maybe something that we just have to get used to as a community, just how that plays out. That is something that you guys have to take with a grain of salt. I'm usually heavily against change, especially when it comes to the maps in this game, and I usually ease into it after a few days. And especially this map is almost the opposite of what you would see from Apex Legends map, because it's big, it's open. It feels more like a Battlefield map or something than it does a Apex map, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it goes against their philosophy in a way. And on another note on the map, once again, this might be because people haven't really learned how it works, but it does feel like loot is pretty scarce. It feels like there's a high amount of good loot in the map pool, and there are some spots where you can get nicely looted up, but it does feel like for the most part you're kind of running around with crappy loot. This might, like I said, just be that we haven't figured out where all the loot is yet. But even when I'm being very thorough, I keep feeling like I'm spending a lot of time looting, and it's taking a long time for me to actually get set up, as opposed to World's Edge or Olympus or King's Canyon. Like, my first impression was, okay, did they do something to like the scale of the game? Did they just make every person smaller? I don't know, but that's what it feels like. Let me know if you guys agree about that. But that being said, on the subject of the map, the design is beautiful. I think this is probably the best looking Apex map I've ever seen. It is, like I said, it looks like a Titanfall map, and Titanfall maps look good. It has a surprising amount of rat spots. It has some places you can climb up on. I'm probably gonna have a lot of fun figuring all of those out by using Ash's ultimate. It's an easy way to see what's scalable and what isn't. There's also a lot of places where you can put a Pathfinder zipline going into out of bounds, so you can do some cool rotations with that. They basically remove the ability to place your zipline on most parts of the World's Edge because there was abuse, but that's still doable on Storm Point, so go off. And on the subject of Ash and just Legends in general, I do want to say that with the way Storm Point seems to be playing out so far, having fast rotating Legends, I feel like Jibby could be useful. But other than that, you want to be able to play with verticality a lot. You want a Pathfinder, you want a Horizon, you want to be able to make, not only take a flank, but you want to try to take high ground, because there's a lot of improvisational high ground that you can take and play from instead of just taking a horizontal fight. So as far as the balance goes, the new patch features a lot of new, we have some new attachments, we have some attachments coming back, we have some tweaks to the guns in the game. We'll have the new CAR SMG. Let me start with the CAR SMG. I feel like the gun is really good. Some people told me, oh, the recoil is so hard to control. I felt like it was almost easier to control the CAR SMG than it was like an R301, which is already really easy. So I think the CAR SMG might end up being meta, especially because it takes 2 ammo types. It means that you don't have to scrounge around for light or heavy ammo. It's a good thing. It does feel a little bit weird compared to the rest of the game, but it's fine. It definitely shreds though. I haven't tried out the DPS yet. I'm assuming it's up there with the R301, the R9 and such, but we'll just have to try it out later. I like the double, you have this attachment that added to the Mastiff where you can double load. It's a Mastiff, and I think the 3030, I think that's a good addition. The Mastiff felt like it took way too long to reload. It was already a meta gun, and they have buffed all shotguns in a sense. They buffed the Peacekeeper with the pellet size and the damage and the choke, and now the Mastiff with the hop up. But I do feel like they almost had to because of the range of the map. Like, you're not gonna find yourself in a shotgun fight as much as you would in a traditional Apex map. And in addition to then adding an SMG, it just feels like it's weird to see these changes that buffs close range or mid to close range guns, because we're not gonna be using those as much as we will be using sniper. I caught myself using a longbow or even a charge rifle in the majority of my games. I was running like an RF1 and a charge rifle, and I never felt like I needed to have a shotgun or a Mastiff or Eva. I was always some type of mid to long range gun. I don't know how to explain this properly, but there's this feeling of everything being too big on a new map. Like you walk to a door and it feels like it towers over you. It's just a lot to take in. Maybe it's just not me getting used to it, but I keep feeling small. That's probably not a bad thing necessarily, but it does feel really weird when you're used to like being a certain height. Every like normal World Cedric King's Cannon asset, like boxes and doors and loot bins, they feel bigger as well. And when I'm shooting someone, they're like the size of an ant. It feels like they're also smaller. So let's talk about the elephant, the robotic elephant in the room, and that's Ashe. I do feel like Ashe is like overhyped in a way. Like, when I saw her trailer, I saw her tactical and I saw her passive, I thought to myself, this isn't that special. It's, yeah, like I can see a lot of outplays coming out of her tactical, but most of the time I don't think it will really do that much. You'd have to line it up. It's not as versatile. You have to like perfectly line it up and combo it with an ultimate or a grenade or whatever. It's gonna be hard to really use it properly. And her passive ability where she can see death boxes and see who killed them, I feel like maybe that's good for pub stomping, but in general, like for ranked or competitive, I have a hard time seeing where it will be used for this. The only real positive I see from this passive is that you can actually track down more people to fight if you are pub stomping or you're trying to find more people to fight in general. But the problem is, if you are already the person who's just mopping up the entire server, it's gonna be useless for you anyways. I guess it would help you getting into the action faster. But her ultimate, I think, redeems her completely if it comes to ranked, if it comes to competitive. The ability to instantly portal wherever you want to go. If you get caught in, I don't know, a Horizon ultimate or a fuse trap, if your entire team is in a terrible spot, you can just instantly portal to safety. And not only to something on your own level, but you can go up on a high ground, you can go to a mountain, you can just bail. I think the range is about the Wraith portal is about 75 meters, and that is a lot. The only downside is that it doesn't go two ways, but I think that going back and forth two ways is really only good for stalling the final zone, and being able to rotate and putting yourself in a good position outweighs having to stall out the final ring. That's just my opinion, though. Maybe pros disagree, but that's what I feel about it as like a overall feeling. I do want to add, though, when it comes to what I played, I found myself playing Pathfinder, like Octane, more so than anything else. Even though Ashe is the new shiny thing, everyone wants to play her, I just really don't like not having movement abilities. With how big this map feels, it just felt so big, open, and boring, and just running around, you know, doing nothing, rotating, like, it just feels really boring. It gets very boring fast because it's because of how big and open a map feels. It feels like I'm running. I could be running for 30 seconds and I still haven't gotten anywhere. It's a really terrible feeling, and I think that is something that playing Pathfinder, playing Octane, playing these types of legends actually offsets. It makes the rotations a little bit less boring. I don't think there are necessarily enough tridents on the map to make it feel better, but like, once again, maybe once we figure out the rotations, it will be a lot more enjoyable to play and rotate around the map. So my final verdict in this season, we're not going to count in the battle pass because I've only heard bad things. Apparently the skins are not that great, but we're going to be talking about the map specifically because this is the big selling point of the season and something it does new. This is a new thing that you don't really see that much in Apex, which is a new map. But I do want to say that these are just my first impressions. I have plenty of time to change my mind. People have plenty of time to figure out playstyles that will, you know, actually make sense on this map. It has felt a little bit boring, a little bit drawn out, a little bit uneventful in general in this map. I do feel like it's harder to get high kill games because of the way people play, but it's likely that those things will straighten out once people figure out that this is the Skull Town, this is the capital city of Storm Point, and then all of a sudden it will be a lot more enjoyable to play and get high kill games. And I will say that I'm glad to see that they're all making some changes. It's good to see that the game is changing a little bit. Maybe it's going to be for the worse, but then the next season is going to do better. It's good that they're experimenting and keeping the game fresh. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment. Make sure to smash the video if you did enjoy this, and I'll see you all, you know, on the stream or tomorrow. Peace out.